So this is from October-November 2019, paper 2, data response, set 1. Okay, so this is a question that we definitely haven't done before, and it's quite recent because it's a 2019 question here. Okay, all right, so let's just start off with going through the whole question together with the source material first one time. Okay, then after that we'll discuss together. Okay, all right, so just listen first. I'm going to just read through one time with you. All right, so question 1A. Richard works for the UK government security forces. Sue is a suspected terrorist. Richard's boss instructs him to find out Sue's plan. Richard contacts the private telecommunications operator whom Sue has a mobile or cell phone contract. Okay, he gets permission to get Sue's calls and messages diverted so he can hear them. As a result, Sue is arrested in London in relation to serious terrorism offences. Okay, explain how the Investigatory Powers Act 2016 will apply to Richard. Okay, next one. Amanda, a UK police officer, pretends to belong to a local criminal gang. Her senior officer gets permission from the public telecommunications operator to fit a tracking device to a mobile phone. He authorizes Amanda to give a gang member Phil the mobile phone. A month later, Amanda is moved to another apartment, but she continues to track Phil's phone. Amanda tells the police about a robbery she hears Phil planning on his phone. Explain how the Investigatory Powers Act 2016 will apply to Amanda. Right, next one. Frank works for the UK Government Customs Authority. He believes that Charlie, an Australian businessman based in London, is importing animals illegally. Frank's boss gets permission to access Charlie's mobile phone, which uses a private telecommunications operator. Frank monitors Charlie's phone for several weeks. He hears a phone call between Charlie and another man when they are both in Australia about importing animals. When the animals arrive on a plane from Australia, they are seized by Frank. Explain how the Investigatory Powers Act 2016 will apply to Frank. Okay, so firstly, anything wrong with the scenario for all three questions?
I don't think so.
Alright, okay, so usually for the scenarios, there shouldn't be any problems. Okay. Right.
Okay.
All right. Then next, we'll talk about this question later. Okay, because now we are just doing the data response part first. Okay. All right. So now let's go through the source material. Okay. Investigatory Powers Act 2016. Okay. Section 3, offences of unlawful inception. Sub 1. A person commits an offence if sub A, the person intentionally intercepts a communication in the course of its transmission by means of Roman 1, a public telecommunication system, or Roman 2, a private telecommunication system. Okay. Then sub B, the inception is carried out in the United Kingdom, and sub C, the person does not have lawful authority to carry out the inception. Okay, let's just finish this part first. Okay, sub 2, but it is not an offence under subsection 1 for a person to intercept a communication in the course of its transmission by means of a private telecommunication system if the person, sub A, is a person with a right to control the operation or use the system, or sub B, has the express or implied consent of such person to carry out the interception. Okay, firstly, any problem with this part here?
No.
No, huh? Okay, good. Alright, next. Let me see. Okay, right. I think we have to go through one by one now. Okay. Section 4, definition of inception, etc. Sub 1. For the purposes of this act, a person intercepts a communication in the course of its transmission by means of a telecommunication system if and only if sub A, the person does the relevant act in relation to the system, and sub B, the effect of the relevant act is to make any content of the communication available at a relevant time to a person who is not the sender or intended recipient of the communication. Right? Okay. Now, any problem with this thing here first?
I don't understand it that much.
Which part in particular?
Let me try to reread it. I don't understand it.
You don't understand it? Okay, fine. Let me just go through one more time first with you. For the purposes of this act, a person intercepts a communication in the course of its transmission by means of telecommunication if and only if. Okay, so it's just trying to talk about what it means. Okay, yeah, what it means by intercepting communication. Okay, during or in the course of transmission. Okay, and for the purpose of this act, okay, it only means such a thing if the person does a relevant act in relation to the system, meaning to say that the person actually does something to the telecommunication system itself. Okay, and B, the effect of the relevant act is to make any content of the communication available at the relevant time to a person who is not the sender or intended recipient of the communication. Okay, meaning to say that it is not the purposes of this act, okay, regarding what it means by interception or communication, okay, is only relevant if it is only relevant to a person, okay, who is not the sender or intended recipient of the communication. Meaning to say that if you are not intended to receive the communication, okay, then you come under the definition of interception. Understand?
Okay.
Very good. Right, but I think it takes a bit of reading again, okay, to understand what it means. Okay. Right, sub 2. In this section, relevant act in relation to the telecommunication system means sub A, modifying or interfering with the system or its operation. Sub B, monitoring transmissions made by means of the system. Sub C, monitoring transmission to or from apparatus that is part of the system. Okay, any problem with this part here?
It's kind of difficult to understand.
Oh no. Okay, right, let me just try and break it down for you. Okay, so here it's trying to talk about what it means by relevant act, which is actually here. Okay, so what it means by relevant act. Okay, so it's just trying to define relevant act as modifying or interfering with the system or its operation. Okay, so if you modify or interfere with the system or its operation of the telecommunication thing, okay, right, okay, then it is considered as interception. Right? Then the other one.
Oh, so this is when it's considered interception.
Yeah. As in these acts are considered as interception. Understand?
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Sub 3. For the purposes of this section, references to modifying a telecommunication system includes references to attaching any apparatus to or otherwise modifying or interfering with sub A, any part of the system, or sub B, any apparatus used for making transmission to or from apparatus that is part of the system. Okay, any problem with this thing here?
I don't think so. It's fine.
Alright, good. Okay, then this one here is irrelevant. Okay, right, then the last part, sub 8. For the purposes of this act, the interception of the communication is carried out in the United Kingdom if and only if sub A, the relevant act is carried out by conduct by the United Kingdom, and sub B, the communication is intercepted Roman 1 in the course of its transmission by means of a public telecommunication system, or Roman 2 in the course of its transmission by means of a private telecommunication system in a case where the sender or intended recipient of the communication is in the United Kingdom. Okay, any problem with this thing here?
I think no.
You think no? Alright, good. Right, tell you what, okay, I'm going to give you like a while. Okay, I'm not sure how long do you need, okay, to maybe like I give you around 15 minutes that try to answer the question first, as in like just briefly. Okay, like try to make a connection between the question here, the scenario, and the source material first. Okay, right, like we did last time. Alright, okay, now that we have actually read through the scenario, the question, and the source material already, we can actually try to answer it. Okay, so firstly, okay, for question A, okay, 1A, can you tell me what is important here? What are the keywords and all that here?
1A.
Yeah.
Okay, so Richard works for the government security services.
Hold on again. Richard works for government security services. Okay. What else?
That Sue is suspected for terrorism.
Okay, so suspected of terrorism. Okay, what else?
That his boss instructs him.
Boss instructs him. Okay. Right, what else?
Private telecommunications operator.
Okay. Alright, private telecommunications operator. Okay, what else?
Yeah. He gets permission.
Okay, he gets permission to get Sue's calls and messages directed so that he can hear them. Okay. Alright, anything else?
No, Sue is arrested, but it's not relevant.
Not relevant. Yes, the part where she's arrested is not relevant because the question, after all, is just asking you to explain how the Investigatory Powers Act 2016 will apply to Richard. That's all. Okay. All right. Now let's see. Okay, which part of the source material is relevant?
Somehow I wrote about section 3 and 4.
Okay, let's go through section 3 first. Which part of section 3 is relevant?
Hold on. I wrote about the part that's that mentions that it's a private telecommunications company, and then that it's but that what is his name called? Richard had the authority.
Richard had the authority. So C is relevant, right?
Yeah, so it was not an unlawful interception.
Okay, alright, but basically section 3 is also relevant. Okay, here section 3 we're just trying to find out what it means by unlawful interception. So firstly, okay, that you highlighted that it is done with lawful authority because after all it is where is it there? Works for the UK government, okay, security services, right?
Yeah.
Okay, right, anything else from section 3?
He did commit an interception by interrupting the course of transmission of a private telecommunication system. So
Roman 2. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's a private one, right? Okay, let me just check it out again. Yes, private one. Okay, private telecommunication. Okay. Anything else in section 3 that's relevant?
I wrote 2A.
2A. Okay. Why? Because this is about, it's not an offense. Okay. Okay, not an offense. Okay, if the person has the right to control operating use of the system. Okay, so who is the one who has the right actually? Richard. Okay.
The security services.
Okay, because it's the secret services. Okay, fine. Okay, we leave it as that first. After that, we look at the marking scheme and then see how. Okay. Right. Anything from section 4 here?
Section 4 is just outlining if an interception has occurred, right?
Yes. Okay, so
I
here
did mention.
You didn't mention it at all?
I did.
Okay, so which part?
I mentioned 4, just that it's considered 1, and then 2.
Okay, sub 1
and sub 2.
Sub 1, the whole thing, is it?
Yeah, I didn't specify.
Right. Okay, fine, never mind. Well, basically, the whole or sub 1 is the basic definition for interception first. Okay, and then what else you said just now?
Sub 2.
Sub 2, which one in particular, or the whole thing as well?
B.
Sorry? C.
Sub 2B.
Sub 2B. Monitoring by means of the system. Okay, fine. Okay. Anything else? No. Alright, good. Alright, so at the end of the day, okay, do you think that he has committed any offense at all under this thing?
No,
No. Okay, because why?
because he got permission and he's a security service officer.
Alright, good. Okay, good. Now let's look at the marking scheme and then see how. Alright, so you can see here, let me just go through the whole thing first one time. Okay, so full development, so this is question 1A, yeah. Okay, full development of the relevant sections, conclusions that Richard has not committed an offense. So yes, your conclusion is correct. Okay, he falls under section 3 sub 1 A Roman 1 as he intentionally intercepts Sue's phone, which uses private telecommunication system, and under B, this is done in the UK, but Richard does have a lawful authority under C, as he has been instructed to find out Sue's plans. Okay, so let's look at yours again. I think yours is fine. Yep, you did mention sub A and Roman 2, yes, okay. And B you didn't mention at all. Okay, so C you didn't mention. B you need to mention because why? I mean, this is actually part of the requirement. Understand or not? Okay.
Yeah.
Section C, offense of unlawful interception. A person commits an offense if one of it is the interception is carried out in the United Kingdom. Okay, and it's okay. Okay, so it's a I mean, it's done by the UK government. Okay, arrested in London. There's no other information saying that no, it wasn't actually done in the UK. So definitely this thing should be mentioned, and then definitely you should say that it is satisfied. Understand?
Okay.
All right, good. Okay, then the next part. This means it is likely he has consent under section 3 sub 2b to track Sue's calls and messengers. Okay, 3 2b, I think you did talk about it as well. 3 2, oh, but you say A, right to control or use of the system. Okay.
He didn't have consent.
He didn't have, I mean, definitely I would say that it is not a right to control, because right to control would be a situation whereby he actually controls the private he is the private telecommunications operator. Okay, but here, okay, right, Richard contacts the private telecommunication operator, okay, and then got permission. Okay, so I guess the more relevant one should actually be with B here. Has expressed or implied consent, hold on, yeah. Okay, has expressed or implied consent of such person to carry out the interception. Understand that?
Okay.
Okay, so it should be 2B, alright? Alright, so that's what is stated here. Section 3 sub 2 sub B. Okay, then lastly, Richard falls under 4 sub 1 and 2B and C, or C, as he diverts and listens to Sue's calls and messages. Okay, I think you did mention 4.1. Yes, you did mention 4.1, the whole thing here. Okay, and then after that, 2B or C. Right, 2B or C. So yeah, at least you did mention B. Okay, so that's good enough, I guess. Okay, because after all, there is definitely some monitoring. Okay, whether or not there is some apparatus being used or not, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so your only mistake is only this part here, talking about the fact that that it should be done in UK, and the other one is this one here, where he has expressed or implied consent of such person to carry out the interception. Okay.
Okay.
Alright, good. So pretty good. Okay, not bad. Okay, you got mostly right. Just only 2 parts wrong. Okay, in fact, I mean, I would say just 1 part wrong. Just this part here. This part here is still not so bad. Okay, I would say. Okay. Alright, any question before we move on?
I don't understand 2B.
You don't understand 2B. Okay, let me
like, how did he have consent?
He got consent from here. He gets permission to.
But he didn't get it from Sue.
No, this one is from the private telecommunications operator, not from Sue. I know it's kind of confusing there, but I think what it's trying to say is, let me just go through the whole thing one more time first. But it is not an offense under subsection 1 for a person to intercept a communication in the course of its transmission by means of private telephone communication if the person has the express or implied consent of such a person to carry out the interception. Meaning, I guess such a person is a person who actually has control over the private telecommunication system. Understand? Okay. It will be the other one. There's another one where it says permission from the other person. Then that's a different story. Where is it? Yeah. There, this one here. Not the sender or intended recipient of the communication. Okay. Right. But this one here is just talking about the person, okay, who actually has control over the private telecommunication system. Okay, meaning to say that private. Okay, it is a private telecommunication system, not public. Okay, private one here would be like, I'm not sure how is it like over there where you are. Okay, right, like they have public ones. The public ones I say will be a landline. Okay, landline, the internet system or something like that. Okay, where it's provided by the government. Okay, private ones will be private companies having those telecommunication companies, stuff like that. Okay, understand?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, now let's look at question B. Okay, what's important here?
B.
Yeah.
That she's a police officer.
Okay, UK police officer. Hold on, I need to hide. Okay. Yeah, okay.
That she's undercover in a gang mob.
Okay, then she's undercover, pretends to belong in a criminal gang. Okay, what else?
A senior officer gets permission.
Okay, from the public telecommunication officer.
The public operator, yeah.
Okay, to fit the device on a mobile phone. This whole thing here. Okay, what else?
They give Phil the phone.
Okay. There's also this thing here, right? Authorizes Amanda to give Phil the phone, right? Okay, what else?
And then she moves to another department.
Okay, Amanda has moved to another department. What else?
And then continues to track Phil.
Continues to track Phil. Okay, then finally this part here, I guess the same thing is not relevant, right? Alright, good. Now let's see which part of the source material is relevant. Which one?
Public telecommunication system. So section 3, subsection A.
Alright. Okay, good. Okay, what else?
I'm guessing it happened in the UK.
Yeah, because after all, let's see.
UK police officer.
UK police officers so obviously happen in the UK as well, and also there's nothing within the scenario itself which tells you otherwise. Okay. Right.
Yeah, it says
okay.
local.
Okay. What else?
And she did have like section A, C. She did have lawful authority.
All right. Because why she
got authorized by her senior officer.
All right. Good. Authorized by a senior officer. Okay. Good. Yeah. What else?
So subsection 2.
Subsection 2. Which one?
No, it's not relevant.
No. Why?
I mean, I can't say she had consent unless maybe from the. Can I read the question again?
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Okay. So what do you think? Why is it not relevant?
Part B is relevant because they got permission from a telecommunications company.
Okay. You say that sub B, is it?
Yeah.
Alright, okay, good. We'll leave it as that first. Okay. Right. Anything from from section 4?
Yeah, that it's considered interception because
okay, right. Basically I would say this part here, right? The whole of subsection 1 again, right? Because after all, this whole thing here, subsection 1 is actually just a definition for interception, that's all. Okay?
Yeah.
Alright, okay, anything else?
Subsection 2C.
Subsection 2C, okay. Right. Why? Anything in particular?
A tracking apparatus in his phone.
Yes, okay, because there's a tracking device, okay, on the mobile phone. All right, good. Okay, what else?
But then I think probably go back to
Go back to,
maybe I wrote at the end that, however, once she moved departments,
okay.
she lost her consent or right to monitor him.
Okay, all right. But before that, anything else on section 4 here that's relevant?
Oh, let me read it. Yes, section 3B.
3B, why wish, okay, any apparatus used for making transmission. I guess this one is regarding the
Tracking
the
device.
tracking device. Yeah, okay. All right, okay. Okay. So your conclusion is, what did you say just now?
My conclusion is that the tracking is unlawful
Why?
because she didn't have the right to the consent to track him during the last month once she moved departments.
Okay, fine. All right, good. Okay, we leave it as that first. Now we look at the marking scheme, yeah?
Okay.
All right, good. Okay, right. Okay, let's just go through. Full development of the relevant sections. Conclusion. Amanda may or may not have committed the offense. Okay, so I guess your conclusion should be correct already, okay, because the marking scheme here says may or may not, okay. Okay, she is covered by section 3 sub 1 sub A as she intentionally tracks Phil's phone, which comes under sub 1 as it is a public telecommunication system, and by B as this happens to be in the UK. Okay, alright. So no issue here. You did actually mention this thing. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah, and also you did mention C, okay, because it was authorized by the boss and all that. Okay. Okay, under section C, she has been moved to another job, but Amanda may have implied permission as she is still a serving police officer. Okay, I mean, this is just one way of looking at it. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Okay, because after all the answer here says may or may not. Okay, so of course, yeah, so of course definitely you need to mention firstly that under section C, firstly because authorized by the boss and all that. Okay, so that is why it is lawful firstly. Okay, then after that, the part where she is moved to another department. Okay, not exactly sure what on earth it means by move to another department. Okay, right, so this is the part where you have to consider whether or not she still has authority. Okay, right, that is why the answer here says may or may not. Okay, right.
Okay.
Right, good. Okay, now let's continue. She meets section 4 sub 1 as there has been an act under 2C and a modification on Phil's phone under 3B. Okay, let's just stop it here first. Okay, 2C and 3B. Section 4 2C, yes, okay. You did talk about, okay, monitoring transmission or to or from apparatus that is part of the system. Okay, right, because of the tracking device thing. Okay, and the other one 3B, yes, you did mention as well, an apparatus used for making transmission to or from apparatus that is part of the system. Right, so good. Okay, right, all of which happen in the UK and is within section 4.8. Any conclusion must be supported with relevant evidence. So I guess this is the only part where you miss, but let me just look at the other one. Yeah, the other one is, yeah, it is said, okay, sub B, but here it didn't. Yeah, it did. Okay, so I'm not sure why is it that here it mentioned 4 sub 8 whereas the other one didn't mention. Okay, but if you ask me, okay, I would say that both question A and question B, you still have to mention section 4 sub 8. Understand?
Okay.
Because after all, the whole thing actually happened in the UK itself. So yeah, it should actually be mentioned. Okay, it's not a big issue. Okay, not something that you should actually dwell on too much. Okay, but it is definitely something that you should be highlighting a little bit. Understand? All right, good. Okay, now let's look at the question C. Hold on, let me just Okay, never mind. Okay, firstly, okay, for question C, what is relevant?
Frank works in the government,
Okay,
customs authority.
okay, Frank works for the government as a customs officer. Okay, authority. Okay, or what else?
Charlie is Australian,
Okay, what else?
and he's importing animals illegally, I guess.
Okay.
So Frank gets permission.
Yeah, he gets permission to access Charlie's mobile phone. Okay.
A private telecommunications operator.
Hold on, yeah. Okay. Private telecommunications officer or operator. Okay, what else?
The phone call that he heard occurred when Charlie was in Australia.
Okay, with another man when they are both in Australia. Okay, anything else?
No.
No. All right, good. Okay, so which part is relevant?
Section 3, subsection A2.
Okay, A2. Okay, what else?
It's C.
C. Okay, I'm not sure whether I can still. Okay, fine. C. Okay. Alright. Okay. Okay. All right. C. Okay. What else?
Subsection 2B.
To B, because of the implied consent and all that again. Okay, not an offense, because after all this is a private telecommunication thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay. Next one. Section 4.
A1.
1. Okay. Basically the whole thing again. Okay. What else?
Yeah. Section 2B.
2B. Okay. Why 2B?
Because he was listening to his phone calls.
All right, listening to the phone calls. All right, good. Okay. What else?
4.8.
4.8. Which one in particular?
It's not conducted in the UK.
Okay, so but which one in particular that is relevant?
B2.
B2. Yeah. Okay. Good. Because it says here, cross transmission means by private telecommunication system in which the sender or intended recipient of the communication is in the United Kingdom. All right. That basically says that okay, the interception of a communication is carried out in the United Kingdom if and only if, okay, that it is actually done, okay, right, the sender or intended recipient of the communication, okay, is actually in the United Kingdom.
But neither of them are.
Yeah, but neither of them are, okay, because both of the men, okay, both Charlie and the other person, okay, is actually they were actually in Australia. Okay, so in this situation here, did what's the name, Frank, okay, commit any offense under this thing?
Frank?
Sorry, yes?
No.
No, why?
No.
Why?
He was authorized.
He was authorized. Okay, fine. Right, now let's look at the marking scheme. Okay, same thing, full development of the relevant sections. Conclusion, Frank has committed an offense. Oh, okay. So he's committed an offense already, but later we'll see why it says so. Okay. He meets the requirements of section 3 sub 1 A2 as a private telecommunication system. Okay, no problem there, you actually highlighted that. B, as he intercepts Charlie's calls from the UK, and he may meet C as it is his boss who has lawful authority. Okay, so no problem here as well, because he intercept calls, okay, from the UK itself. Okay, no problem there. Okay, however,
his permission was only in the UK.
sorry, what is it?
His permission was only for calls in the UK.
Yeah, okay, right. However, Frank may be covered by section 3 sub 2 sub B, as he has implied permission via his boss. So yes, you did highlight that as well, which is similar to the question A, because question A is also private telecommunication system, right? Okay, next one. He also meets section 4 sub 1 and 2B or C. Okay, so this one is the normal stuff. Okay, so no problem there. Okay, 2B or C. Okay, yeah, both actually is the same thing. Okay, the only difference is that for C there's some apparatus, whereas B there isn't. Okay, but of course B will be more relevant here than C. Okay, right? Because well, I think the reason why they say B or C, because both are also monitoring transmission. Okay, but more specifically, I guess it should actually be B rather than C. C should be in the other one. Okay, all right. But it's caught by section 4 sub 8 sub B2, because both Charlie and the man he calls about the animals are in Australia and not in the UK. Okay, so which you also got correct. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, so I mean, like, just try to do it yourself first. Okay, finish the whole thing yourself first, and then I mean, you need to be a little bit more confident with what you're doing. Okay, so apparently for this part here, the only thing wrong is your conclusion. Okay, right, whereas the rest is fine. Okay, you know why is do you know why they say that Frank has committed an offense? Okay, it's because of this fact alone. Understand? Alright, because of the fact that they didn't follow section 4 sub 8 sub B2. That's all. Okay, alright. Whereas the other one, the first two, okay, it was done in the UK, no problem. Okay, right. And that's why also, I mean, you actually have to mention the fact that it was done in the UK. Okay.
Okay.
Alright. So any question before we move on?
No.
No, so it's quite clear. Okay, so quite good. Okay, this exercise.